And we're live once again, people. Deluded, I'm back again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, in some cases, good night. Do make sure you're smashing the like button. Subscribe if you're on Amazon Prime, on Twitch, people. And yeah, man, big up yourselves. Hope you're having a great week, a great day. Thank you for tuning in with myself. Now, apparently, some news has come out in relation to when the transfer window opens and closes. You know, the Isaks, the Gyokeres, the Seskos, news around Bukayo Saka and all of that kind of stuff as we gear up for the return of the Premier League, people. Now, the good news is that this is the last international break until obviously the end of the season. One thing that does annoy me is obviously Calafiori's injury, and at best, we're going to find out on Monday in Mikel Arteta's press conference, I'd assume, the status on that. If Mikel Arteta does give anything away, we all know he's quite coy and clever with all of that, man. Madrid fans are not happy. Why are they not happy? Why are they not happy? Is it in relation to the Zubimendi stuff, or what is it? Like, why are they not happy? I mean, Madrid fans, what you lot got to be upset about, realistically? You know, you win all the trophies, you buy all the great players, you've had throughout my 29 years and probably even longer, all the big players, well, a lot of big players and industrious names that go down in football in history, let alone the fact that they play for Real Madrid, and they've got some to this present day with the Viniciuses, the Mbappes, Modric, yada, yada, yada. What they got to be unhappy about? Afternoon, Edward, man. Man said Saka K, less of that. But as you said, it said here, smash the likes and subscribe. I see you in my comments all the time. I appreciate that. Karma, one love, shout out the mods, man. 2-3, come on, my dude. I haven't seen Hugo Ekitike play, but why do I feel like we're going to get him? Honestly, I don't know. And I say the same things. I've been saying the same things for years. You know, we can sit down, we'll have a chat, and this player would be good, and that one's better than this one. But until people are holding shirts, who knows? Isak's the impossible dream. Too many dominoes have to fall into place for Arsenal to have a chance. But to be honest, every time he's linked with Arsenal, it is really worth covering. You're led to believe, not that. And again, what happens in the actual world of football versus the talking points and what us common people are led to believe about who's going where, it always raises in question. You look at Cody Gakpo, the media was saying he's going United, he's going United, he's going United. Where did he end up? And there's been many incidences of that. Now, I only say that to say this. You're almost led to believe that Sesko is the one, Sesko's the sure banker. Even if there was a chance of his that in that, Arsenal are quite confident that for the best part of a year or two, they've been dotting I's and crossing T's with Sesko's camp. They know kind of what Leipzig want. They see how he fits into the team. Maybe they've parted that off on one side. Holler Isak, see what's going on there. And if it doesn't happen, Sesko's the one. I think Sesko is the one that seems to be like he's coming to Arsenal. But then it raises in question Hugo Ekitike. You know, he's only in his early 20s, if that. He's been on the scene for a short time, but a long time. Probably made the Paris Saint-Germain move way too early, finding his feet at Frankfurt. Again, for me, if you can't, it's confliction, because I want the players, as I keep saying, like, I know we can't, but in terms of Arsenal flirting with league success in the last 3 years, me believing that we could have made more of a meal where the FA Cup and League Cups are concerned. Champions League, you need a lot, but if you got these big bad players, you have more of a chance. I am in win now mode. I would like players win now mode. I would like, you know, the right decision, even with someone like Thomas Partey. He's on the wrong side of 30. He's getting, you know, he's known to pick up injuries and whatnot. He's on big money. We're trying to bring in players and sign new renewals. The best decision long term is probably to get him out. But in terms of win now mode, regardless of if, bro, Zubimendi might not even be signing for us, whether we get Zubimendi or this one, in terms of win now mode and having a competitive squad, you could argue, better yet, that keeping part is the right thing. So I wouldn't mind the Gyokeres, Isak, or Osimhen, guys that are for with it right now. But at the same time, as we know, it comes down to the money. You either get Isak when he's at Dortmund, let alone Sociedad. You know, you get half of these guys that we're linked with. You get the point in it. Because if you're not going to go do that, then you need to pay the going rate, whether it is 100, 110, 120 in Isak's case, and so on and so forth. So is it worth? While I'm a hypocrite, because I do say we need to sign players and I'll give everybody a chance, but I wouldn't say necessarily Nico Williams, Hugo Ekitike, for example, at the point of entry at Arsenal Football Club, I'm like, yeah, we're stronger for the league. I do think there are areas that's been addressed. I still think they've got potential. And also, we do sit here and say we need to find, you know, half these guys that end up at Brighton and half these clubs that we waffle about. We need to find them before they get to these clubs, or we need to find those players on an upward trajectory before they end up where they're ending up. And we have these talking points, and we might just have to go do that. If we're not going to spend 60, 70, even up to 100 on 2, 3 players, then you might as well do that. So at the end of the day, if Hugo Ekitike is a good player, that's all that matters. If he can bag goals, that's all that matters. If he's got potential to help us in the short, medium, and long term, do your thing. He is a bit like a poor man's Isak. I do think he's making up for lost time because, as I said, made the Paris Saint-Germain move probably too early, struggled for game time, getting his confidence back, getting his rhythm back. 60 million, where you hear him, 60 million, Sesko, in and around that. There is an argument around quality and quantity because I do think we need bodies, but clearly we don't need bodies for the sake of it. But we also need quality. Now, we're not going to get Isak, but if I humor you guys and we assume that we're going to spend 100, 110, 120, all the way up to 150, various reports say with Isak, how much of a budget do we have? Because we have got money, but we know how we operate. If you spend that money on Isak, does that stop you from potentially getting a left back? I like Calafiori. I think he needs to go on a defensive crash course. I'm a big fan of Miles Lewis-Skelly, and I'm sure you lot are as well. But left back's probably an area we need to introduce. We still need to, it's one thing talking about striker. I mentioned Nico Williams' name. Clearly need to do something at left wing, central midfield as well. In fact, the midfield and the final third, so the attacking third, they're two very big areas for Mikel Arteta. And I would say really, that those 2/3 of the team is where the big questions are. Defensively, you've locked it down. Of course, Tierney's going. There's commentary around Tomiyasu's inability to stay fit. Kivio's going to be linked with hell of Italian clubs. Zini's got a year left on his deal in terms of getting fees and looking after our resources. He's one that could be gone. Question marks over, ironically, Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes if they're going to sign extensions. But generally, when you look at our defensive ranks, we're kind of sweet there. And obviously, Raya, yes, we need to bring in some goalies. Midfield, I'm happy with Declan Rice. Obviously, the only question marks around Declan Rice is how Mikel Arteta is deploying him. Odegaard, he is a linchpin. He is, we've got stability in that regards. His form's on the floor, but you've got two pieces to a three-man puzzle. Who is going to be the long-term partner for Declan Rice? What sort of midfielder is it going to be? And I don't need to tell you about the attack. If Trossard leaves, then so be it. But I think at a minimum, Trossard, Martinelli, Kai Havertz, you lot could be squad players and rotationary options. And as you lot have seen from the season kicking off to where we are now, there's plenty of games for people to get minutes and why we need a squad. But there's only one person that Arsenal can't generally upgrade upon if everybody's fitting you in and you look in the front three, because we're not going to go and get Mohamed Salah. We're not going to get Yalmao. These are in the conversations for best right winger in the world, along with Bukayo Saka. We're not going to get them. So, and we all know how good Saka is. So Saka's nailed on. Clearly, a number 9 by default. Kai Havertz, you're out of there from the starting lineup. Left wing, Martinelli and Trossard, we need an upgrade. We need someone that can do what Saka does, or at a push, 50% of what Saka is doing. Like, we need to pull our weight. And don't get it twisted. Odegaard obviously needs to find his shooting boots, needs to keep evolving from set pieces, need to keep finding those unlikely sources. But, Saka needs to keep scoring the goals. Kai as a rotationary option. If you're here, go and get your goals. One year, we get your goals. Trossard and Martinelli, find your shooting boots, let alone get your goals, man. So it all depends, man. It really all depends. But my thing is pivot, because it's one thing talking about Isak and Gyokeres and Osimhen and Hugo Ekitike and this one and that one. Make sure you get one of them. I'm at the point now where I keep saying this, where of course we can have discussions. Would you rather Gyokeres or Isak or none of them or both or whatever? But I'm at the point now, get the striker in, and then we'll talk about the talking points. Like if we were to sign Isak, quality player, but if we was to sign Isak, then we can have conversations about will he live up to his price tag? Is there injury concerns? If you sign Hugo Ekitike and Sesko, are they the strikers? Can they get better? Get the players in first, man, because I don't want to hear we tried, powder dry, all of that kind of rhetoric and those kind of narratives, man. Like we need to get our job done, man. Appreciate that, Dan. I didn't win an award, mate. Didn't win an award. Got nominated, but I appreciate that, man. You're looking at 6 players, bro. Striker, left wing, 2 centre mids, left back, number 2 goalie. Big up Muay Thai. It's a techie one, man, because in the ideal world, like I said, the quality versus quantity debate where we're concerned moving forward. We know what we'd want in an ideal world, but when you consider all the moving parts, I don't know how many players we're going to get. I don't know how much of a say on incomings, outgoings have, and all of those kind of things around it. I would say I want more, but I'd say a minimum surely 3 players to the starting lineup, man. You need a left back that can fight with Lewis-Skelly and Calafiori and provide another option. You need that centre mid to tie next to Declan Rice. You clearly need a left winger. You need a striker. So better yet, that's 4 positions. Then, like you said, you need a goalie. In an ideal world, which we're allowed an ideal world, this is different from reality. I would love 2 strikers, and I would love, your Gyokereses, your Osimhens, your Isaks, that guy that ready right now to take that number 14 shirt, maybe just in terms of his profile, Hugo Ekitike, Sesko, Jonathan David, one of those kind of things there where they're development strikers, they can come in. But I can't see us getting 2 strikers, obviously, and a left winger. And you've got Kai Havertz in the mix as well, man. It is what it is, man. Big up Aaron Talks Arsenal, man. Make sure you're following the lads on the platform, man. Big him up. Me, him, Kenny, and DJB did a very good stream yesterday. Check that out after this. Don't compare Nico to Saks. Huh? Not sure on that one there, but okay. I'll take your word for it. Odegaard's last chance to redeem himself is this champ's been dismal this year, worse than Nelly, which is saying a lot. Has he been worse than Martinelli? Has he? Obviously, signing Nico Williams wouldn't be the be-all and end-all, but you cannot deny he's a clear upgrade on the left wing. Definitely thinks he makes us better. We have to get those players with the scope to improve, man. Like, if you could get Nico Williams and Hugo Ekitike, and we generally know how good they are right now, but more importantly, how good they can be. I'm not saying Hugo Ekitike is going to be Isak, but you got to remember, Isak, it didn't work out at Dortmund. He found his feet somewhat at Sociedad. Newcastle took a punt. I'm sure if you ask every Newcastle fan in 2025, much less football fans, how good Isak is, they'll waffle about how good he is. When they signed him, much less for 80 million, naturally, and it's nothing wrong with it, there was question marks, but they did their due diligence and they're reaping the benefits. Obviously, if we sign one of these development strikers, I think most fans, if they sign for us, they do the job. Nobody cares. Maybe that's a sort of angle, and I find it confusing, our kind of recruitment policy, because it's like we half go for the stars tomorrow, we half try to buy established players, half go for the Premier League players. But I would like to see, and again, Berta's not coming through the door yet, but I would like to see a clear somewhat, like, when you could, I don't even know how to formulate, but when you could kind of tell the players Arsenal were quote unquote going for. Like, some of you have seen my videos from the early days of YouTube, like Guendouzi and Torreira before they signed for. That's because you could see players. You could obviously just watch players and see how they tie in. I don't think you could see that necessarily. Arsenal could still do a thing and win the league this season. I'll take your word for it, my guy. Thoughts on the pan. Bring him. Like him. If he can come and be a good option instead of Odegaard or in place of Odegaard or be part of the squad and he's got scope to get better, great. If you buy him for 10 million, exaggeration, and he's not quite good enough, but you sold him for 30, keeps it moving. If I was Arsenal, I'd get Gyokeres and David, honestly. I don't think we're going to get 2 strikers. With the way we move for Sesko, near completing the deal, but holding off when being asked to, makes me feel he's being used as the fallback option if Isak is our main target. It probably is, but then again, what we hear and what these journalists are saying and all of those kind of things could be very different to what's going on in the world of football. Some players might be closer to signing for this football club or further away from signing for this football club. Reports and actually what's going on typically are very different things. What's going on here? Hello? That was weird. Don't know why the camera turned off, but we're back, man. Have to remember, Jesus will be injured next season. He'll be back in September, October time. So from August to October, we need striking options. Can't be waiting for an injury-prone Jesus to get back up. Next season, for a variety of camera died, but it resurrected. We need to be on the ball, man. Is there any correlation beyond the obvious? I would say in the last few years, our best transfer window was when we signed Rice, Kai Havertz, Raya, Timber. We got them in early. And even the summer before that, Jesus and Zini, they were in early. They hit the ground running. Like, we all know Gabriel Jesus' issues. He came to this football club. Could you score goals? Clearly, he can't score the level of goals. But the major reason that started this downfall was actually not in an Arsenal shirt. It was when he played for Brazil, got that injury, and so on and so forth. But we got them in early. We've got no time to fluff about like last summer. Again, I'm sure Arteta got some wrong. Edu got some wrong. People in and around and above them got some wrong. But we're all at this football club. We dropped the ball. We can't afford that to happen. If you've got your targets, make it happen. And I don't want to put too much faith in Berta because I haven't seen what you've done at this football club yet. Yeah, you've done your thing at Atletico, but it's put up or shut up. We've got to get these signings in early. We've got to address these areas. We've got to stop talking about the same things, I feel, man. Like, if I look at it kind of lazily but true, we still not have that stability on that left-hand side. We're still lopsided. Like, our right-hand side typically is the bread and butter. We evidently don't have the depth. We have question marks about Rice in the 8, and we have question marks about the long-term partner for him. Question marks, obviously, this season about Odegaard, and maybe he needs someone that can deputize for him or provide some competition. The overall thing is around depth. The only quote-unquote position we're somewhat comfortable as Arsenal fans is the defensive ranks. And where you look at some with contracts, some with reasons to be moved on, there's not necessarily stability there. I don't want to go as far as to say rebuild and all of that kind of stuff, but Again, the manager's been here 5 years. The vast majority of these players, since we've got into this Premier League trying to win it shout, have been here for 3 years. Give or take, some have been here a bit longer. Is it any coincidence for a bunch of reasons, whether it's injuries, shifting team dynamics, loss of form, emerging players, there needs to be a bit of a change. Players that were once first names on the team sheet are not necessarily that now. Contracts are running down. People are getting older. People are stagnating. There needs to, I think, a bit more. I think a bit of life needs to be injected in this team now, if I'm honest with you. In the final third, tactically, there needs to be some life injected, because I do think it's quite naive if you just assume whatever striker, the numerous strikers that we're linked with, the numerous left wingers we're linked with, we clearly need better players, and it clearly would have helped this year, and it clearly will help. But you're very naive if you just assume you slap a better striker, a left winger, and Saka, and all our attacking issues are gone. There's so much Mikel Arteta has to do, specifically with breaking down low blocks and in the final third. There just needs to be a bit of life. And the annoying thing about it for me is, we've been linked with Zubimendi, and I don't think the club is stupid. Like, they clearly know they need to find that long-term Declan Rice partner. But to me, as a naive fan, Partey is leaving. Like, he's literally leaving now, and it's only like when a problem's evidently at our front door. Now we have to do something around it. Now, I take my mind back to the summer we signed Kai Havertz, Rice, all of those players. Clearly, the plan was Rice and Kai Havertz in midfield. That evidently didn't work out. So you could argue at the time we got two midfielders. But at the time when we got Rice, I wanted Lavia because I saw him as the younger kind of Partey model. So we need to be investing in that. It's a bit different. But just bearing in mind, Gabriel Magalhaes, his contract is one thing. He's 27. I don't know who. I don't know where. But are we now going to begin the process of scouting that next left centre back? And the same with Saliba, etc., etc. And even going back to what I said about the defensive ranks, like if you were to say your players of the season, or if I asked you for your 3 players of the season, comment if you care, they're probably 9 people out of 10 are going to put our defenders, with the exception, asterisk next to Saka, because he was good in what he was available at when Yeri's come through. Other than that, players of the season, if we don't harp on about one name necessarily, Timber's going to be in with a shout. Is he not? Gabriel Magalhaes is going to be in with a shout. I think David Raya internally doesn't. I think people downplay what he's done for our club at this moment in time. Raya's going to be in with a shout. Yeah, you get the point where I'm going with that. And then when you look in the midfield, it's probably either Partey or Rice. It's not Odegaard and all of the rest of them. So yeah, man, there's a lot that we need to do. I don't know how we look at the situation. Our demands as fans and can't go all in on Isak. He's literally the Luis Suarez of 2025. We had a choice and we flubbed it. Let's not make the same mistakes. If certain variables or dominoes fall into place and Newcastle want to sell, we make a bid that makes sense, or we tie up a deal that makes sense for them, then great. But too many things have to happen. Newcastle ended their trophy drought. They hold on to some players and add more quality. They're laughing. Eddie Howe's a good gaffer. When the PSR red tape F's off, they're going to be allowed to do madness. He's under contract for 3 years and they want to give him a new one. And to be fair, I don't really care for a conversation about Arsenal, Liverpool, Barcelona, which team would Isak rather go to. But these 3 teams, it's not that they don't have the money. Are they going to do that? I don't know, man. We have to sell Havertz, bro. It's easier said than done. Where is Havertz going to go? Assuming he wants to go. He's clearly cool in London. Couldn't believe his luck when he went from Chelsea to Arsenal. I don't want to say his name's held in higher regards because he won the Champions League at Chelsea. But as much as Kai Havertz can get respect away from the obvious talking points, he's probably got more respect week in, week out as a footballer playing for Arsenal. So you're happy here after a tough start. The manager F's with you. You're on big money. You got a decent amount of years left on your contract. You're a valued member of the squad. It is a World Cup year next year as well. So that is something to bear in mind for various players. You're not going nowhere. It's not. There's several. I'm not saying you're wrong for what it's worth, boy, because you know my thoughts on Havertz. But when you consider, you park Havertz off and you look at the need to renew contracts, the need to move certain people on, the need to bring people in, Kai Havertz is not the least of our problems, but there's bigger priorities. Now, where Havertz becomes an issue, and it's actually nothing to do with Kai, because he never bought himself, he didn't put himself on these wages. I want a striker, I want a centre mid. That already rules out Kai Havertz upgrades on what we have. That already rules out Kai Havertz from the starting 11. And you can't really have someone on those wages. Havertz can go Germany. There's always a German club that wants Havertz. We are hamstringing ourselves for no reason with Havertz. That's great. But unless we hear Bayern Munich have bidded for him, or Leverkusen, if they get Wirtz money, it's not going anywhere, is it? Havertz is overrated. But nobody rates him. So how can you be overrated? Like, how can you be overrated if nobody rates you? DG, mate, that's why this summer has to be focused on the forward lines. Release Gyokeres, go get Semenyo and Buemo Williams. If that's your thing, then work down the squad. I mean, God, these names would be good. I can't lie, I'd leave Semenyo, but the Gyokeres I'd love Buemo, you know. I'm dreaming, but if you could get me a striker, whether that's, I mean, the dream would be Isak, innit? But the Isaks, whatever, all them guys, and then Buemo, I'm like, oh, okay, we're in with it now. Semenyo, yeah. But how can, overhated, sorry. Because people, he is scapegoated to a degree, man. I think for Kai Havertz, I look at Kai Havertz's side in two parts. For him, isolated to him, like Kai Havertz, I think your signings worked out. You've turned it around at this football club. You are one of our more reliable attackers, which tells you the problem in itself. For the club, it's an L because it's going to affect to some degree what you do in terms of contracts, what you do in terms of bringing people in. Obviously, Kai Havertz can be a squad player and whatnot, but you look at the wages. Can you have a squad player for that amount of wages on the wage bill? And it's just not. What is Kai Havertz? So I don't think Kai Havertz's signing has been a failure on Kai Havertz's part, and I don't necessarily think it on the club's part. But it just wasn't needed. Like it really wasn't needed. It really wasn't needed. It really wasn't needed. And you're still finding. And I'm not trying to do the Kai Havertz hate thing, but what is he? Are you a centre mid or are you a striker? You are a bit of a Swiss Army knife for club and country play everywhere, but yeah, man. Arteta tried to be a bit too complicated with the Kai Havertz signing. And let's be honest, where Kai Havertz up front, we failed upwards. Yes, he's played up front before in his career, but we tried our best to make him a midfielder. Jesus got injured. I think Kai Havertz's strengths are better off the ball. I think I'll give him that. I think you're a fighter. I think you got physical qualities winning the first and seconds. I think you'll run well. I think I wouldn't say you're a good facilitator, but you've got intelligence in that regards. If you're not good on the ball, you forget about playing in midfield. Forget about playing in Arsenal's midfield. Striker is your thing. You can be a float. I can see why managers would like Kai Havertz, but for us, it never made no sense, man. But we're at where we're at. And this is why you can't just sit there and blame the Cronkies, because whatever way you look at it, Arteta keeping up the theme with the front three and the midfield three. Rice costs 105 million. You're playing a world-class 6 as an 8, being devil's advocate. Odegaard is more of a form thing, but you did spend 30 million on him. Marino, 30 million. Did you need to do that? Kai Havertz, 65 million. It's now time to stop being too smart, man. If Havertz isn't a centre mid, then he's failed. We already knew he wasn't a striker from Chelsea. I don't think we knew he could play in all those positions, but isn't a master of anything, which has probably plagued him his whole career since he moved to England or left Leipzig. Got to start scouting, man, before they get to the likes of RB Leipzig, Monaco, F the 80 mil price tags and take a chance. Yeah, we need an established striker right now, but there ain't an abundance. But then even that, Newcastle fans might have had that conversation. But internally at Newcastle, someone said, Isak, they've all got to start somewhere. And throughout the course of this summer, a year from now, there'll be players that in all these positions we're not waffling about now that we'll be waffling about then. These guys are paid to scout. I know it's not the same, but we all know when Brighton buy a player, they probably, from the moment a player signs for Brighton, they've probably got his replacement lined up. Is there something we can learn from, like you said, the Leipzigs, the Monacos, the Brightons, the Brentfords, etc.? There needs to be a clear strategy of what we're doing, which I hope Berta brings to the table, but one man can't change everything. Honestly, DJ, I get it. Until Arsenal win something big or at least one or two lower trophies, the pressure is on every single member of this squad, as it should be. Smash the likes, people. You don't want to have unexpected high bills. Kai is not a squad player. He's a second striker like Firmino. He's a link man facilitator at a striker. He'll play with him. Has been used as a striker mainly because we lack options. I think you're conflating the two, because you can be a squad player and still be a second striker. What, Kai's a squad player? Are you putting Kai in your starting lineup week in, week out for a team that wants to challenge? I do think Kai could be a squad player. You can chip in. If your form's out of this world, you can start. But if we're talking about a striker, if we look at our starting 11 and assume everybody's fit, I personally think the only question marks we'll have is, are you going to go Lewis Skelly or Ben White or this one or that one? But for argument's sake, Timber, Lewis Skelly, Saliba, Gabriel, David Raya, Odegaard, at this moment in time, Partey, obviously Declan Rice, Bukayo Saka, Kai Havertz through the middle. I'm going to say Martinelli, but between Martinelli and Trossard, who cares? Change that left winger to Nico Williams, change that striker to Isak instead of Kai Havertz. You're a squad player by default. And I'm not saying that in a disingenuous way. I've seen my team, the Ray Parlers of this world, the Will Toads of this world, the Edu during the Invincible season. These men were squad players. And I think this season should raise why you need a bigger squad. Did you see the tournament England might be hosting between Jamaica, Ghana, and Nigeria? I saw a tweet, but has it been confirmed? He's literally our top goal scorer still, and he's been injured. The wages and fee isn't our problem. So why does that matter? Play him as a squad player who leave if he doesn't like it. Blackgate, you said it there. You said it there. And I think this is why I said for Kai, individually to him, his signing hasn't been a failure. You joining Arsenal hasn't been a failure. For us, there's question marks. Because unfortunately, if you can say that about Kai Havertz, which you're right, he is one of our top goal scorers. He's doing his job. But Kai Havertz has never been defined as anything clinical. And if he's our leading striker for a team that wants to get a Premier League trophy over the line, we're going about it the wrong way, man. Of course, he's in my starting 11 if we add a striker and a left winger, drop Odegaard and play 4-4-2. You know we're not playing no 4-4-2. And you want to drop Odegaard for Kai Havertz? I see what you mean. He is a bit of a facilitator, but he's not an on-the-ball facilitator. I ain't trying to see that. I can't lie to you, bro. Havertz in the 11 if we have a good window? Probably not. Definitely not. And actually, that's another reason as to why we need to move quickly in the summer as well, because Kai Havertz will, need to get back up to things. Obviously, you're missing several other players. If it was up to me, Saka wouldn't play any part of this season, so you'd have to allow him up to speed. We need to hit the ground running, man, next season. We need to hit the ground running things. Odegaard needs to wake up, but I am not dropping Odegaard for Kai Havertz on a consistent basis. Like, I am not trying to. It's like, if you offer for all of Odegaard's faults and respectfully to Kai Havertz, if I look at it on a lazy one, like 38 games, would you rather play Kai in that 10 or Odegaard? Ironically, if anything happens to Odegaard at this moment in time, I do think Kai plays in that, just because Kai can do everything Odegaard can do off the ball. Kai Havertz is very intelligent in that regards. It's just, unfortunately, with football, it's what you do on the ball. The likes ain't liking, Aaron. Tell him again. I can't remember if you spoke on this, but if it's Isak and nothing else, are you, man, taking it? You see, the fan of me just wants to say, yeah, F it, man, but it wouldn't be logical, because even away from Isak, as great as he is, that's still a striker. There's still the other pieces of the squad that hasn't been solved. And if nothing changes, nothing changes. We're going to find ourselves crying about the same things. Havertz is like Muller from Bayern. I hear that. Afternoon, DG. Hope you and your family are well. Smash the likes, people. Right back at you, man. Arsenal women's got past Real Madrid. Hopefully the boys will reciprocate. I hope so, man. I hope so. There's bare areas. The money has to stretch. And that's what I mean with what I asked you lot about quality over quantity. It's like, yeah, we all want the A-list of players, but you might have to get a B or C list that can do a thing so the money stretches. I don't know. We got a lot to do, man. We got contracts to renew. We've got to bring in players. Got to earn a decent fee, man. I don't know whether these players that we would all say could be moved on want to leave, because it's all fun and games saying sell Trossard, sell Zinchenko, sell Kivio, sell Gabriel Jesus, which is silly because the man's injured. Who is going to buy him? At best, people are probably going to wait until next summer, see how he recovers. It's all fun and games saying sell these guys, but they've got to want to move. Clubs have got to want to make offers that they think is, acceptable for someone of their quality. Arsenal have to be in agreement with that. It's not going to work. If I had to make a guess over who leaves, obviously by default, unless there's a massive change, Tierney's gone, Jorginho's gone, Partey's gone. I reckon Trossard's gone. I don't know why. That's just my thoughts. I don't know if we let him go without bringing in someone. It just feels like you're going to have a year left on your deal in the summer. Of course, you've seen people go into a season with a year left and sign one. But I just think, you know what the club might say? We're going to get a winger anyways. Wanyeri's emerged as an attacker. Maybe, we just let Donny go kind of thing. I think Zinni would be moved on as well. You could argue with what I've been saying about left back. He might not. And he's on big wages. He might believe, I can get my spot back. Who's this kid, Lewis Skelly? You can't take my spot. Calafiori's 1v1 defending might be on par with mine. I could take my spot back. Tomiyasu's never there, but I reckon he's gone. Kivio, I want to say I believe he's gone, but I think he's one that I just don't know, because I'm not going to lie. If Kivio wants to stay in the current role that he's got now, that is cool. We need bodies now. And Arsenal's the sweetest gig you're going to get, unfortunately, for you at this moment in time. But you're not... God forbid, if something happened to Gabriel Magalhaes, I think I would try several other defensive centre-back options before him. Left-back, we're not trying to see that. Are Arsenal going to let him go for better yet, our clubs, because he's linked with Italian clubs, are clubs going to buy him outright, or they're going to try to do the loan with an option, or they're going to do the loan with an obligation? So it's all kind of techie, man, if I'm honest. Who else? Obviously, Neto and Sterling, that don't count. It's all fun and games saying sell Martinelli. I don't think nobody's bidding nothing mad for Martinelli at this moment in time. Congratulations, he's announced he's engaged. So it's a techie one, man. Pardon me. I'm not even playing Kai. Why are people playing Kai? My head is Kalas, fam. I'm not. Nah, come on, man. Cut the guy. If we were to sign a striker, centre mid, the left winger, address all the areas, and Kai's part of the squad. Kai, you can be part of the squad. There's games for you, especially if you show the form of the second half of last season. You will play games, but it's a squad thing. It is a squad game. You're not in the lineup like that. If I'm honest. I'm not playing kind of 10. I'm playing him next to the striker, replace Odegaard with someone like Havertz or Wanyeri. I think you're living a movie, man. Most of these guys we are guaranteeing leaving this summer were meant to be gone in Jan, such as Zinni and Kivio, for example. I don't think we'll get them gone. It all depends, man, because I do think Zinchenko, we're not going to make no profit, but Zinni's a chance to earn something. Trossard's a chance to earn something. Kivio's a chance to earn something. Burton needs to make sure he's moved on Lokonga. I will rate, do you know, again, the one I'm looking at, and I know when we're talking about incomings and new deals, it's nothing. I want to see what's going on with Fabio Vieira, because he's had some good moments at Porto, but hardly pulled up any trees. Is he going to be back into the squad in some capacity next season? Is he going to go back on loan? Is Berto going to somehow be able to rob someone for the money we got robbed for? I don't know, people. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know about the Odegaard over. I mean, the selling Odegaard for kiting. Big up, DG. Get warm. Got to remember Tavares. Tavares is actually what he went with an obligation. He's actually gone. Tavares, Marquinhos, Lokonga, Haim will be back this summer as well, and we looking to offload all of them on top of the ones that are rotten here right now. Marino's got to step up for me next season. I don't know what he is. Squad player. I said it then. I said don't follow these tacticals on YouTube saying he's going to change our life and whatnot. Been a bit. Well, he's been evidently underwhelming, man. But I do think people are quite harsh on Marino. If I'm honest with you. The one thing I'm not impressed by, I don't think he's as tenacious as I thought he'd be. I think you're Spanish, so you got a bit more drip, but you're kind of like a ricey kind of midfielder in that you're not, if you play in midfield, you can do stuff, but you're next to someone like Fabio Ruiz for Spain, like the more glamorous kind of one. And I see him holding his face, rolling around a bit too much. I'm not really on it. Yeah, no, Lokonga's got to be gone. Carl Hines shot that, man. I'm not going to lie to you. He can stay if he wants to be second, but third choice. Better yet. I'm not convinced, man. Shot that. Sell that, man. Sell that. Just sell that. Gabriel Jesus' injury really threw a spanner in the works, man. We needed to move the man on now, but I just hope he can contribute next season. It's true. But even if he was fit, yeah, would he have been moved on? I'm not saying we wouldn't have wanted to, because big wages, not really doing the job, but would he have been moved on? Because it's all fun and games talking about Saudi, but for the last few years, Partey's been linked with Saudi. He ain't got nowhere. Didn't they do try and build links in Saudi? He ain't gone nowhere. Jesus ain't gone nowhere. The only one that looks like they might go Saudi is Trossard. It's interesting, man. Yeah, hopefully Lukaku don't come back. We've got a lot to do. Berta's got a lot to do, and the team have to support him, man. He's got a lot to do because one man can't do everything consistently. So we'd have to see. And we also got to throw a disclaimer out there. Unfortunately, we're not going to, all the things we want to see brought in is not all going to happen. And all the players we need moved on, it's not going to happen. Clearly, there should probably be a bit more of a priority of sorting out the players that are contracted until 2026. So that would be Lokonga. That would be Carl Hein. Forgive me if I'm wrong. That would be Trossard. That would be Zinchenko. Them kind of ones. Tomiyasu, Gabriel Jesus. I think you lot are going to get parked into the 2027, especially if certain rhetorics around you lot doesn't change. Like if Jesus' form doesn't back up and Tomiyasu can't stay fit, it's a madness, really and truly. So yeah, man. If I share my screen with you guys, people, allegedly Ben Jacobs and numerous news outlets are saying the Premier League transfer window will open June 1st to June 10th, then close for 6 days due to the Club World Cup, and reopen on the 16th of June and close on the 1st of September. The Premier League transfer window will open June 1st to June 10th, then close for 6 days due to the Club World Cup, and reopen on the 16th of June. And I can't lie, the Club World Cup, yeah, it does raise in question. Imagine, like, a bit like how I always say, like, we know the league's gone in it and Champions League, it is what it is. But could you imagine we were still in with a realistic chance of winning the Premier League where we would have still been in the FA Cup. We obviously, assuming everything went well, we would have had a cup final. We need a bigger squad. And imagine we had a Club World Cup, like I believe, I could be wrong, but Chelsea, City, all these players, like you look at player welfare. There's a World Cup next year. There's been a lot of international football for a majority of these players for the last couple of years. There's a lot of club football. You really have to worry about player welfare. Players are treated like absolute guinea pigs, but we all know in this current climate, there's going to be more games in many different kind of things and less rest for players. And that's why the product is suffering on top of football being too systemic. Congratulations to Martinelli. He's got engaged to his partner, people. Shout out to him. My boy, and you lot, Declan Rice has been nominated for Premier League Player of the Month for March. And he's also up there for Strike of the Month for March as well. Tavernier, Cucurella, Stubian, Elanga, Marmouche. I don't think he'll win that because there's been some screamers still, but it's nice to see you nominated. Now, apparently, Bukayo Saka could be back earlier than expected, people. Apparently, Charles Watson said he could be back for Fulham next Tuesday. Now, I get it if there's been rumors he's actually played in a behind closed doors friendly. If he's been signed off by the medical team, fair play. But I'm a bit nervous. Like big up Aaron because he's in the chat. We all I've waffled to a lot about Saka's potential return and whatnot. I don't really want to go over the same things. For me, I'll just write off the season, if I'm honest. It's a hamstring injury. It's a long-term hamstring injury. You do tend to see players get little niggles. Just because you're on the bench against Fulham doesn't mean you're going to get minutes. And if we fast forward to what you'd have Fulham, you'd have Everton, and then you'd have Real Madrid. When would he be exposed to first team minutes? How many minutes? Is it a 10, 20, whatever? I think of course I want to see Saka back and all of these things, but I don't think it makes sense, man. I don't think it makes sense, man. Just let the guy rest, man. Just hold our L's. Now, people, hijacked. Everyone's getting hijacked, including us in the last few days. Arsenal have been stunned by the news that Real Madrid are very close to completing the signing of Real Sociedad midfielder Martin Zubimendi. That's according to AS, who report in the Spanish media that Madrid have hijacked Arsenal's deal with Zubimendi. We learned that Arsenal's pursuit of Zubimendi was gathering pace, with the Real Sociedad midfielders reps flying to London for further discussions with club officials. Over the last week, it was further reported that Arsenal almost had the transfer in the bag, is the bag, as it says here. David Ornstein stated that Arsenal are in advanced talks to sign Zubimendi and was in a sentiment shared in Spain. It is understood that Arsenal are prepared to double Zubimendi's wages and have reached an agreement, smashed the like button on a 4-year contract. But on Wednesday came the shock news in a number of Spanish outlets that Real Madrid have hijacked the deal. The Spanish media now believes Zubimendi is very close to signing for Madrid. Madrid are looking to bring in a top central midfielder this summer due to the age of Luka Modric and uncertainty over the future of other players. We have also heard they want a Spanish contingent. Now, again, Real Madrid might have very well hijacked this and Arsenal need to find another guy. It could be lies. It could be lies where Arsenal are apparently close to getting Zubimendi. This could all be lies. What's going on in the footballing world and what's being reported, we don't know. The agent could be playing people against each other. There could be a third party that is not Arsenal or Real Madrid that go for him. If you want Zubimendi, great. My thing is, I actually think he's a talented player. But unless it's a prime Patrick Vieira, Cesc Fabregas, Lionel Messi, Kylian Mbappe, if you don't get the player, you don't get the player in it, really and truly. Go get another one. DJ, as we said yesterday in the stream, it's way too much of a risk. Too much of a risk. Now, questioning our own logic, obviously, if Saka's been signed off, then he must be able to play. But I just think it's a big injury, man. I just think allow it, innit? Like, I'm just an armchair expert. I just think allow it, man. Like, because if he doesn't get injured, if he comes back and he doesn't get injured, nobody cares. I don't care. But then at the same time, if he does, it's I told you so. I really don't want it to be the thing. Zubimendi didn't have the best of games against Man United. His whole team didn't, but he did boss it against England in the Euros, and he is a good player, man. I don't know how I would feel if Zubimendi comes in, Partey leaves, because I do think you would need someone that's like Partey, if not Partey himself, Zubimendi, and obviously Rice. And yeah, you've got the cute and clever options in theory to do other stuff, man. Just subscribe. DG channel is a really good content creator. Appreciate you, RP, man. Thank you, man. Saka shouldn't play if he's not 100%. Big up Fam Zone TV. Big up them for the raid. And shout yourself, Catch, man. Make sure you're subscribing. I must be the only one who wants Gyokeres over Isak. I'm at the point, bro. I don't care who we get, bro. Like, Gyokeres, wavy. Isak, wavy. I don't mind Sesko and this one and that one. Just sign me a striker and we deal with that after. And that's how I feel with the centre mid thing. I just don't want to hear we tried market opportunity, powder dry. I know I probably am asking for a lot. But to me, as an Arsenal fan, I'm getting a bit impatient. I need to see a striker. I need to see a left wing. I need to see a central midfielder. They are my priorities. I need to see, let's just, without getting into it again, I need to see movements made with outgoings. And for me, I would like a left back. I would like you to sort out the goalkeeping situation as well, man. Now, real talk, DG, you're right. The rumors are tiring, man. I'm more than happy to speak about it with you lot, but it's all was, bro. Like, it's all was. Like, it's all was. It's all was. And generally, I do think the way the media reports on Arsenal's interest, like even with Zubimendi, and there's been many before, they move like we are the only clubs going for these guys, which I hope is the case. It really does. But you see, if it goes left, we need something else. I'd get Kane for 60 mil on ability and quality. If Kane has the bollocks paws big enough to make that move, let's go in it. That's a statement, and we could win stuff quickly. But I don't think he's going to do it. I think Arsenal will do the whole age thing as well, and obviously the Arsenal Spurs kind of stuff. I don't think it's going to happen. Don't forget to click the like button and smash and subscribe. Big up Aaron Talks Arsenal. Make sure you're following this platform as well, man. Good content over there. Zubimendi couldn't even do well against United. I ain't going to kill a man on one game. I don't rate Zubimendi. He ain't all that. I just think he's a decent player, and I'm having him on that, man. Always the same links with same people. It's always buzzwords. Hella buzzwords, bro. To me, if we get a third six, I need a long-time borderline captain from a top 10 team in a top 5 league, like a 28-year-old veteran from La Liga or League R. No, I don't want Zubimendi at all. He played ish against United. I mean, I ain't going to kill a man for one game, man. Cap, they would just move Valverde into centre mid after they bring in Trent. I mean, who can begrudge Zubimendi for turning down Real Madrid, especially if the guy who gave you a break at Sociedad, Xabi Alonso, goes over there? It's Real Madrid. You do stay in Spain. It's Real Madrid. It's Real Madrid. It's Real Madrid, which is the biggest thing. And I always say it, and you lot always say it on my platform as well. We can talk about this news, and what it could be in theory, but beyond that, until people are holding Arsenal shirts and saying that they grew up watching Vieira and Thierry Henry, and that it's all West. That's for every player. And then you add in a bit of a sprinkle for Zubimendi. We've seen this before, how you're on joining Arsenal. Now you want to stay at Sociedad. We saw it with Liverpool. We saw it with Bayern Munich. We've actually seen him linked with Real Madrid before. Quality player, man, but it is what it is. Like, if you want to join us, innit? And the Evening Standard, big up Simon Collins, because I met him at that award show. He's quite a cool guy, very nice guy, man. Are Real Madrid about to hijack Arsenal's move for Zubimendi? Arsenal are confident of securing a 50 million deal in January. Now, not necessarily you, Simon Collins, but your colleagues in the industry world, in the journalist world, maybe to hide Arsenal fans' frustration or aid, or someone put a bandage over it of our frustrations that followed from the summer in January. We're told there's relative confidence. Jason Ito and Arsenal are doing this. We've been speaking with Zubimendi, blah, blah, blah. Bit like with Sesko, we've been chatting for 2 years. But until you sign things, get them over the line, it doesn't mean anything. I wish the world was like this, where everyone was a man or woman of their word and whatnot. But in business, if I's haven't been dotted and T's haven't been crossed, Zubimendi or whoever could say, yeah, you know what, I like the way you're coaching. I like Arsenal. Wouldn't mind living in London. He could tell you everything. Agent's contract is making sense. He can say everything. But until you sign on that dotted line and have a legal binding agreement, it's all was. And as I keep saying, what is reported in the papers and what is probably happening in the world of football, they're very different things 9 times out of 10. Anyways, let's see what this article is saying. For a supporter base waiting for their club to complete a transfer, there are a few words that would set alarm bells ringing more than Real Madrid and Hijack. True. Arsenal fans are experiencing that right now amid reports in Spain that Real Madrid are trying to muscle in on a summer move for Real Sociedad star Martin Zubimendi. And also, I'm not saying this in the case with Arsenal, but when a club, like, for example, Arsenal could be making mad progress, we genuinely could be about to sign him. You do see these same articles claiming someone's hijacked something and whatnot. So all possibilities are on the table, which is why I'm going to say what I said a few moments ago again. Until man are holding shirts, saying they grew up watching XYZ, it doesn't really go far or move me much, people. The Gunners were confident in January of tying up a deal for the midfielder who has a release clause of 50 million. Arsenal are looking to revamp their midfield this summer, as both Jorginho and Thomas Partey, who are over 30, are out of contract at the end of the season. Zubimendi, dubbed the Gen Z Sergio Busquets, quite a title to be mentioned as Busquets, is an ideal replacement and can operate as a number 6 at the base of midfield. There's nothing concrete to suggest a deal with Arsenal is off, and the reports in Spain continue to note how the Gunners are front runners. News of Real Madrid's interest emerged in Spanish newspaper AS last weekend, with the outlet reporting they're still on the hunt for a successor to Toni Kroos after he retired last summer. PSG's Vieira, we should have got him, man. Another one I did a video on, was mentioned as an alternative to Zubimendi. In brackets, I keep saying AS stated, the biggest difficulty for Real Madrid is that Arsenal is well advanced in the deal and is willing to pay the 60 million buyout clause. I mean, Real Madrid's Real Madrid and their name's enough, but Mikel Arteta, you're Spanish, you put the groundwork in, you're from that region of Spain. You need to play on all of that to get Zubimendi to sign for us, man. Like, come Arteta, you're a madman. Like, we've saw what Calafiori said. You were showing him pictures of his family. We've seen the pickpockets, all that crazy stuff. You need to find a way to get this guy over the line. Real Madrid apparently are said to be monitoring the situation, though, especially given the uncertainty around Carlo Ancelotti, which, again, they might get Xabi Alonso. The Madrid boss has again been linked with taking over Brazil this summer. Come on, hey, Brazil, we're back. I told you, look, 2026, Brazil were winning the World Cup, if not England. Carlo Ancelotti is going to be managing us. Carlo Ancelotti, Martinelli, Gabriel Magalhaes, Gabriel Jesus, we're winning the World Cup. We're back. Football is finally back. But on a serious note, Carlo's been linked with taking over Brazil, which he's always linked with people this summer. That would obviously naturally open up the door for a Carlo Ancelotti replacement and naturally for Xabi Alonso to replace him. Alonso enjoys a very close relationship with Zubimendi and coached him in Real Sociedad's B during the early part of his career. The report in AS has since been followed up by a Spanish radio station, COPE, who also claim Real Madrid wants Zubimendi. They have been more bullish than AS, stating that the release clause is not an issue, and now it's up to Zubimendi to decide where he wants to go. I mean, you're going to pick Spain, innit? It would appear that the first transfer saga of the summer has begun weeks before the window has even opened. Now, Darmish Chef, who was at that same event, people, kind of counters that. He said, I'd say that Zubimendi one is almost definitely going to happen to Arsenal. I just wonder, when you look back to the summer transfer window, Liverpool were all set to sign Zubimendi, and then there was a late change of heart. It's not been confirmed to anyone, but seeing now a year later, he's very, very likely to join Arsenal. Was there a late intervention by Arsenal in the summer? We did hear that Arteta was saying wait a year for us, but again, there's no way of confirming these kind of claims, people. You have to ask that question because he looked all set to go to Liverpool. It looked like it was a done deal. The deal was agreed. It was him who changed his mind in the last minute. And you just wonder whether Arsenal had come in and said, look, we can't bring you in right now. We desperately want you. Mikel Arteta knows him very well. And maybe he just thought, I'll just bide my time for the time being. I actually want to go to Arsenal. Maybe he just thought that there's too much maybes done. Way too much maybes, man. Way too much maybes. If we get into the other stuff, people, again, if we scroll all the way up, Arsenal allegedly identifies 60 million Alexander Isak alternative as they look to finally solve their forward issues but face competition from other Premier League sides. Good players are always going to be wanted by everybody. We're not the only ones linked with Isak, with Gyokeres, with Sesko, with this one, with Zubimendi, this one, that one, and the third. Hugo Ekitike rumors are back. Arsenal have identified another European forward as a transfer target for the summer should they miss out on Isak, according to a report. The Gunners seem set to come up short in the Premier League title race once again under Mikel Arteta. One of you lot said the title race is still on. Well, we are 12 points behind Liverpool with 9 matches left to play. We know there's been serious injuries, Saka, Kai Havertz, and Gabriel Jesus. Arteta, meanwhile, expressed his frustration in the winter that his side failed to recruit another forward in the January window before they fell victim to injuries. It is expected they won't make that mistake again in the summer and will sign at least one striker, with Alexander Isak believed to be top of their shopping list after they inquired about him last year. The Sun, though, report that an alternative target has been identified, and that man is Hugo Ekitike. Is this going to move? It's been reported he's valued at around 60 million, which is a lot less than what any club wants to pay Alexander is. What any club wants to sign is that we'll have to pay. So is he better than Sesko? Is Sesko better than him? If we've done all the groundwork for Sesko, why is this one now the guy? I don't know. I'm just asking. He has scored 19 goals this season for Frankfurt with a number of other Premier League sides, including Liverpool, also linked. We all know he played against England's under-21s last Friday and he bagged a hat-trick. And apparently he's impressing in Germany. It said the player himself wants to move to a Champions League club in the summer. Liverpool and Arsenal are the only 2 English sides that can pretty much guarantee that. Arsenal have scored 16 fewer goals than Liverpool this season, 53 compared to 69, and have also netted fewer than City and Tottenham Hotspur. We know Mikel Merino has been used as a makeshift. Apparently, Manchester United have also been linked with Hugo Ekitike. But every club, better yet, that needs a striker is being linked with the same guys. United's being linked with Gyokeres, so are we. They're actually being linked with Vlahovic now. So it's all a game of charades, really. Nobody knows, really. The original article said we're targeting him as an alternative to Isak. Again, Newcastle could hold out for 150 million. They're trying to get him to sign a new deal. Ekitike has caught the eye of a number of teams, as we know, people. Hugo Ekitike does not have a release clause, but is expected to move this summer as a number of teams seeker number 9. Can't really see. This ain't really said much. Just says United are looking at him as well. We know what Berta's got to do. And again, the same names are going to be linked. Like, if your team needs a striker, you wouldn't mind Julian Alvarez. You wouldn't mind Hugo Ekitike. Various different degrees of preferences, but you wouldn't mind Alvarez, Gyokeres, Liam Delap, emerging star like Liam Delap, somewhat re-emerging star Hugo Ekitike. You could throw Sesko in there. Vlahovic, Juventus have lost their manager. He's not signing a new deal. They're in a precarious financial situation. So it's easy to make these links, people. Who knows, man? And as it says here, while United and Chelsea are in a similar boat to us when it comes to finding a 9, there you have it, people. Like, at some point, the Gunners and their rivals are going to have to take a risk, especially if they cannot afford that ready-made Isak, which is true. And you look at half of these guys, how the strikers compare. Mateta's been linked with a bigger move, and he's done well for Palace. Gyokeres bagging goals for fun. I think he's got 40 in all comps this season. 26 ripe old age. I think we want someone a bit younger, man. I think we're looking at the Seskos and the Iketikes, potentially Liam Delaps. Wouldn't mind. I think there's too much baggage where Osimhen's concerned. Vlahovic the same. Jonathan David, I just think you're going to be a free agent and you makes you a market opportunity. Not convinced on Boniface. Kane is a myth. It's just not going to happen, is it? Like, it's not going to happen. I mean, just a striker would be great for us, man. Allegedly, Newcastle paused new contract talks with Isak after he turned down their latest offer. I don't know how many offers they've made him, but the first couple of offers are going to get turned down, especially when you and your agent can see that bigger clubs are looking at you. You want to get paid as much as you can. And the longer you take to sign a new deal, which there isn't any like rush for him to sign a new deal, you're going to get more money in it. Allegedly, Isak has rejected Newcastle's first contract proposal. The Magpies are desperate to tie their Swedish sharpshooter to a new contract after he fired them to the League Cup, their first major trophy in 70 years. Isak is still under contract until 2028. So too many dominoes have to fall for Arsenal or anyone to get Isak. Newcastle want to hand him bumper new terms to ward off increase in transfer interest. 19 goals in 25 Premier League appearances is superb. Remember, they were saying he's having a slow start to the season. The 25-year-old is once again performing at a world-class level and has convinced the likes of Arsenal and Liverpool that he'd be their ideal next number 9. Newcastle naturally have no intention to sell. Apparently, Football Transfers previously revealed that Isak was open to sign a new deal if it included a release clause for 2026. However, the striker is also aware that this summer could already be a career-defining one. If he stays, he'll become a Newcastle legend. But if he still harbors ambition of playing for one of Europe's elite clubs, then the upcoming window will be his best chance of freely picking his next side. A whole host of top clubs are expected to make a long-term investment on a striker, meaning that many of the current opportunities will be closed off for the foreseeable future after this summer. Apparently, courtside claims Isak has rejected Newcastle's opening contract offer, and this has led to a pause in negotiations as the club plan their next move. The report states that this is far from an encouraging response from Isak as far as Newcastle are concerned, and has given rise to fears that this could be his final season at St. James's Park. It has further asserted that this revelation has put Arsenal and Liverpool on red alert. The outlet adds Gyokeres is being eyed as a potential replacement. The news of Isak's refusal to engage in contract talks has been received as a bombshell, but it isn't all that surprising. As part of our reporting on his demand for a release clause, we revealed that negotiations are not expected to ramp up until later in the year, should he stay. That is fair enough. That's one to watch. Arsenal and Manchester United are being linked with Karlampos Koulatis, one of the many young shining Greek players. We've covered that before as well, people. Arsenal allegedly are close to agreeing a new contract with Ethan Nwaneri. Naturally, he's now turned 18. We can make him sign a new deal, people. So yeah, man, and he's doing his thing. Been lovely. You deserve it. A bit shocked that you weren't in Thomas Tuchel's England squad, but it's all right. You will be there. Arsenal are more likely to tie Magalhaes down to a new contract than they are to allow the Brazilian to move to Saudi Arabia. I mean, if we really did get £100 million bid, you've got a lot to answer for, really. We've been linked with quite a decent player. We've been linked with another right back, Feyenoord right back, Giovanro Reed. He actually looks quite decent going forward. Now, surely if we're going to sign a fullback, we need to move for a left back. But us and Liverpool actually seen Real Madrid. See, Real Madrid and Barcelona have been linked. The 18-year-old is doing his thing. Very good going forward. Decent 1v1. Quite raw, in my opinion, from what I've seen of the Feyenoord lad. But I've got a lot of time for him. Smash the like button if you haven't. I just don't think we're moving for him. You have previously heard Atletico Madrid reportedly are eyeing up a hijack for Juan Garcia, who we were linked with last summer, the goalkeeper at Espanyol. They actually want to send him back there for a year on loan. Arsenal are one of several clubs looking to poach Bilal El Khanous from Leicester. I'm all for that, depending on the price. I'm for that for the Moroccan international. I think he's got everything I look for in an Arsenal player. Very techie, very good in tight spaces, quite versatile. Better than Fabio Vieira, respectfully. Could be very good with scope to grow as well. Don't know how much he would cost people. But yeah, 20 years of age. I'd rather us work with them kind of projects rather than you're going for, in theory, Marcus Rashford, Raheem Sterling, Kai Havertz, players that are down on their luck type of thing. Additionally, RB Leipzig are said to be keen on a potential loan deal this summer, while Lazio are intent on signing permanently. At this stage, it is unclear how much Leicester would demand for him. He cost them 20.5 million euros last summer. The English teams most interested in the 20-year-old are Arsenal and not Liverpool, as reported elsewhere. So we'll have to watch that, if I'm honest with you. Manchester United have been linked with Vlahovic, and I only browse Vlahovic every now and again because he's going to get linked with us again, is he not, people? Am I wrong? Real Madrid, oh, well, if you will show me, what's this? Real Madrid have joined Arsenal and Spurs in the race to sign Stuttgart midfielder Enzo Milio. It's been around for a while. Allegedly, Arsenal have scheduled a formal meeting with Victor Gyokeres' agent. The Gunners believe this will give them the edge in the race for the sporting striker signature. Not sure on the source, but it does sound good in theory, doesn't it? Are Arsenal fans entitled, people? How long it's been since all 20 Premier League clubs last won a major trophy? Newcastle, it's been 11 days. United, it's been 306 days. Manchester City, 312 days. It's been a year for Liverpool, 2 years for West Ham, 4 years for Chelsea, 4 years for Leicester, 5 years for us. And I don't know about Spurs, but 17. Crazy. So it'd be interesting to see you lot's thoughts on that. What is this? Victor Osimhen, Nico Williams, and 15 stars shining in Europe who look destined to join a Premier League club during the summer transfer window. Show me. Xavi Simons. Having a bit of a flat season. Do you know who I wouldn't mind? And he got injured as well as a kind of hot shot. That Malik Fofana guy at Lyon. Allegedly, Man United expressed an interest in Xavi Simons last season. He wasn't interested in moving to England at that time. Preferred to join Leipzig on a permanent basis. He said to be open to leaving Leipzig this summer. United are said to still be keen. Liverpool have been linked. Apparently, it will take 80 million euros, which equates to 67 million for Leipzig to part company with a player who's contributed 8 goals and 6 assists despite missing a couple of months of the current campaign with an ankle injury. Angel Gomez will be a free agent, and he seems to be linked with Spurs. Apparently, he's rejected West Ham. Moise Keane's form for Fiorentina at this moment in time, especially when everyone needs a striker, that's going to put him up there. I'm not keen on him. Benjamin Sesko, you're not the most sexiest of player, but I don't mind it, people. It must be said the striker wasn't particularly impressive at Euro 2024, but having already hit 17 goals in all comps so far this season, it should only be a matter of days before he nets his previous haul of 18. So he's going to better his other season. Unsurprisingly, Bayern are said to be interested in signing Sesko to eventually take over from Kane, but Premier League clubs are queuing up to sign him, with Arsenal, Chelsea, Spurs, United, Liverpool, all credited with interest in the 24-year-old. Nico Williams, as you know, he appeared to be Barcelona-bound, people, which isn't happening. They got Dani Almo, the two poster boys in Yalmao and Rafinha. Can't say they're missing him. Chelsea and Liverpool have both previously expressed interest in signing, him. But it is Arsenal, allegedly, who are now reportedly leading the race for Williams, who has a buyout clause in his contract that is reportedly set at somewhere between 60 million euros and 80 million euros. So that's 50 million pounds up to 67. Let's see, though, if Barcelona are willing to give up the chase without a fight, while it's also been reported that Bayern Munich have entered the fray as well. Victor Gyokeres looks almost certain to leave. PSG have been linked. Bayern Munich have been linked. Man United have been linked. It seems like around his future, Champions League football will play a massive part. 40 goals in 41 appearances, including a hat-trick against Man City, is going to put you on everybody's radar, and it will probably take 70 million euros for the 26-year-old signature. Martin Zubimendi, we've gone over that already, but it was claimed in January that a summer switch to Arsenal was effectively a done deal. And according to the latest reports, the Gunners once again remain confident of completing the transfer. But until he signs on the dotted line, who knows? Cambiaso's been linked with City. City historically is now been linked with Arsenal and Liverpool. So we'll have to watch that one. Osimhen is someone that's linked with everyone. Be interested to see what's going on with him. He's been linked with PSG, Arsenal, and even Real Madrid. Vlahovic, we went over that. Jeremy Frimpong, good player. Don't think you're the profile we want. Would love Ryan Cherky. Just don't think we're interested. Ademola Lookman, always got time for him. Don't think you join Arsenal. Jarrell Hatto needs to be joining Arsenal. The 19-year-old is captain Ajax, has 100 appearances. Still very raw. Still extremely raw. In an ideal world, I would have done it last summer and just said stay there for a year. But I'm here for him, man. We need him. While Hatto signed the new contract after spurring Arsenal's advances last year, the chances are that we'll be seeing him in the Premier League next season. Leal's going to cost a lot of money, so we'll have to see where that is. We're still linked with Scholarbeck people, allegedly, the guy that plays for Borussia Dortmund, just like everybody, and PSG has been thrown into the mix. We have been linked with him before, as it said here in the previous report. 5 clubs have been linked with him, which are Liverpool, Arsenal, Newcastle United, Real Madrid, and Barcelona. So it'd be interesting to see what's going on there. We're still linked with Koulibaly. Arsenal are not putting all their eggs in one basket, with a report revealing the Gunners are now looking at a potential deal for Koulibaly. According to TBR, Arteta was offered the chance to sign Koulibaly before the striker joined Juventus on loan. At the time, the North London club decided against signing the 26-year-old. Okay. So what's changed? Doesn't say why it's changed. Okay. TBR also reported that Arsenal are in talks over Ekitike in the summer transfer window. Arsenal have asked to be kept informed about the Eintracht Frankfurt striker and have held preliminary discussions to sign him. He's got 13 goals and 4 assists in 23 games. They're demanding 70 million. Shades of Mbappe. I don't know. We'll have to see that. Forget the Isak stuff. It's quite boring where Arsenal news is concerned. It's the same old names. What's this? Porto president suggests Arsenal could now suddenly make a U-turn on Fabio Vieira. He made 49 appearances under Mikel Arteta in his 2-odd seasons, but just 17 were starters. What has AVB, who I think is the Porto president, what's he got to say? It's been widely reported that Arsenal are ready to sell Vieira this summer, but the Portuguese club's president, Villas-Boas, who previously named Tottenham and Chelsea, has now suggested that the North London Giants could do a U-turn because they still continue to believe in him. Apparently, Fabio is one of our own, someone who will always be welcomed with open arms. He knows these corners like nobody else. You have no idea why I find that funny. That's why we brought him in. He's now at a unique moment, recognized by all as one of the most informed players. Based on that, the same reasons that led Arsenal to sign him for 35 million may be the same ones that make Arsenal continue to believe in him and we lose him. Okay, so I mean, that's a comment that we've all probably thought. I'm not too sure on that one. Fair enough. And apparently Bournemouth are due to open contract talks with Gyokeres Semenyo following interest from Liverpool. Semenyo's a player that some of you want. Anything new? How Thierry Henry didn't win the Ballon d'Or against you or Fabio Cannavaro? I don't know. These are the countries that Cristiano Ronaldo Jr. can play for. I don't know if you're the truth, though. You didn't grow up like Cristiano Ronaldo. Anyone taking Jadon Sancho? That is all a myth. Kobe Mainoo still being linked with a move away from Manchester United. Tyler Diblin would be great, but 100 million, you're bugging out if you think that is going to happen. Don't forget, people, at 3 p.m, I'm going to be live with a gal. And 10 past 4, I'm going to have She Knows Arsenal. So, yeah, content, and more content. What are you lot saying in the comments, speaking of that? We just need to recruit Chloe Kelly and Russo from the women's team. Big performance last night, it's true. I was in secondary school in 10th grade when we went invincible. I was 4 years old the last time we won the league. Man, I wish we got Osimhen. His wage demands for Chelsea were like 200k or 250 weekly. Chelsea got the worst American owners in Europe. I could even barely drink last time we won the league. I was in year 4, man. It's peak. Absolutely peak. The contract talk story was 4 months ago. Do some proper research. I mean, that could be that. I'm not here to do proper research. I just read the article that came out today. Sorry, mate. Can't help you. Newcastle have not offered Isak a contract. They're just chatting, man. They're just chatting. No one knows what's going on. Appreciate you, Hooks. Big up yourself, Em. We're going to end up with Moise Kean or something. For what it's worth, As I said, I just want a striker, man. I'll deal with all the other stuff after, man. I signed up for World Cup tickets. Karma, hope you get them, man. Hope you get them. Hope you get them. Are Brazil even qualifying for the World Cup? Settle down. Stop hating. When we're there and we win it, please don't bread us. Please. Zubimendi should go Real Madrid, even if it means only being a rotation option, guaranteed to win trophies. And that's what the game's about, not competing, but winning. It was 2 legs deluded. He failed, bro. Who are you speaking about? But year 4, yeah, man. Used to be called a glory hunter for supporting this football club, and now it's madness. Dibbling 100 price set isn't so much of a big deal. They don't want to sell. That's just what. Yeah, they're intentionally pricing him out of a move. And he's got 2 years left to run in his deal. They clearly want him to sign a new deal. But yeah, if they genuinely want 100 mil, I'm just saying, not that I have 100 mil, I ain't putting out for him. We can negotiate though. Millier's a baller. He is a baller. Last summer was our time to invest heavily on attack. Now that the base of our midfield won't be here after summer and Big Gab's potential move, we're going to invest heavily there. Just get me my striker, my winger, and my centre mid, and we take it from there, man. Please, like, just take it from there. Knowing us, we'll end up with David on a free. The agents are working overtime this season trying to get their striker clients to big move. Well, that's why half of these things are nonsense. If I'm Isak's agent, beyond the obvious, I'm going to just keep saying this, what club wants me, that club wants me, this, that. I would want my client to get given a release clause. There's just so much nonsense. Isak is staying at Newcastle. Like, he's staying unless someone's bidding something stupid. Gyokeres, well, even that, away from Isak, all these guys that want moves, not everybody gets to move. Or you get the move that you thought wasn't the case. Respectfully to Galatasaray, we all know Osman didn't want to end up in Turkey. Now, Galatasaray, massive club, doing his thing. He didn't want to end up there. So it's all fun and games to speak about potential rumours, but beyond that, it doesn't go far. I'm just wary of the fact that I'm going to be back online at 3 p.m, people. I'm going to be here with a gal. So I'm going to love and leave you lot. As usual, appreciate you lot tuning in, the mods, the members, all of that kind of stuff. Your opinions, your differences of opinions. You lot stay safe, stay blessed. And I'll see you in just under half an hour, man.